All right, so let's talk about 7 steps to build a great personal plan. My name's Karl Bimshas, and I help people become better leaders for their business. And let's face it, if you're a business owner or you're running a large team, your business might be doing great, but perhaps your personal life is not doing quite as well. That's because you're neglecting things. You're great at making plans that have to do with business, your organization, sales, what have you, but maybe a little less so in making plans around your relationships, around your finances, around the level of contribution you want to make. Maybe you're even doing a lousy job making plans for vacation, recreation, those types of things. Any other area of your life besides the work that you're doing day in and day out. Now, it doesn't apply to everyone, but probably you could shape up a little bit in that area because there's probably something that's a mess. So what we're going to do in this quick overview is give you 7 quick steps. There's a lot of work behind them, but just give you an overview of the 7 steps, kind of a checklist for success so that you can build a more inclusive personal plan. So let's get started. The first thing that you've got to do is confirm your values. Now, this is something that I run all my coaching clients through and even consulting clients through. Because if you don't know your values, then everything else is really irrelevant. It's going to fall apart. You're going to be working towards the wrong thing. And so some people struggle trying to figure out what their values are. And there's lots of tools out there. I offer some my own, but there's plenty out there. But really all you need is a calendar and your bank account. So if you take a look at where you spent your money, and where you've spent your time in the last 3 to 6 months, you can have a pretty good indication of what things you value. See, where you're spending your time and your money is on things that you value in one way, shape, or form. So let that sink in for a moment and how you feel about it. Do you need to make a change? You've got to commit to figuring out if you want to change or keep going the same course, because if you start making plans you don't believe in, that's just not going to work for you. So I recommend confirming your top 4 values and then stack rank them, because values help you make decisions. So it's one thing to have a whole mess of them. It's another thing to have kind of your core 4, and then it's a whole other level to know, what's most important, what's second most important, on and on. Those types of things just help you make decisions so much faster. So confirm your values. The next thing, identify your quest. Now this gives a lot of people, particularly busy professionals, a lot of heartache sometimes because they don't know what their purpose or mission is. They know what it is on work, but sometimes in home life or the bigger picture, what's the point of it all? Sometimes people wake up at some point in their career and say, hey, what am I doing? So you really got to give some thought to your purpose and your mission or your next mission. See, too often people are getting hung up trying to figure out what theirs is. The truth is, you probably already know. You're just afraid of it. Now, let's just have some permission, say it's okay to be scared. I mean, that's what makes life more thrilling anyway. So, and really, if you honestly believe that you don't know what your purpose is, and I guarantee just thinking about it right now, something's coming to mind, but if you really don't know what your purpose is, then make that your quest for the next 12 or 18 months. Just figure out, okay, I don't know what my purpose is, but in the next 12 to 18 months, I will. By the way, there's a resource that I have at learnfromkarl.com, if you're interested, that runs through other ways of finding your purpose and setting goals and a lot of other cool stuff. So if you'd like to, go ahead and check that out at learnfromkarl.com. Let's go on to the next thing, though, after your quest. Now, this you want to spend some time on. List 100 goals that support your values and quest. So pour a cup of coffee, get a drink, something that keeps you alert, however, and sit down and spend 10 minutes just brainstorming and go for 100, okay? Like, what do you want to do or have or be over the next, and let's give it 10 years, right? And really think over the next 10 years, what are the things that you want to have? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? Capture everything that comes into your mind and really, don't stop until you get 100 of them. And the reason for that is because the first 30 are going to be, your cliche, everybody has them, bucket list stuff, your peer group, whatever it is. It's just going to be kind of like stuff, okay? What you want to do is get to your real wants, and those are the ones that you seldom admit out loud, let alone put into writing. And those pretty much don't show up until after you flush them out with, like, say, the first 60 ideas or so. So get your list of 100 goals that support your values and your quest, and then you can create a master plan and do it for the next 12 months. Do it for the year ahead. See, what you do is you review your list of the 100 goals, and what you'll do then is like whittle it down and pick 8 that are the ones that you think leverage kind of all of your attributes and multiple dimensions of your life. So in other words, well, first pick things you think that you can reasonably and confidently accomplish in 12 months' time, okay? And then of those 8, make them goals that are covering multi-dimensions of your life. So don't focus just on career or just on finances or just on business stuff that you probably have that pretty well wired. Think about other elements like, okay, where do I want to spend vacation time? Where do I want to take my relationships? What other things do I want to improve? How am I contributing to my community or to the world? And what things do I want to do? So those are the areas that you kind of want to focus in on. And you're probably going to be a little overly ambitious. You're going to come up with these things that are big goals, and maybe you'll be able to complete them in 12 months, maybe not. And that's okay, though. Be ambitious. I mean, that's far better than the alternative. So all of these goals, and as you whittle them down to things that you can accomplish in the next 12 months, that's going to give you focus. So this is a great exercise for sorting what's important to you. And then you assign success metrics. In other words, what does success look like? You got to know what success looks like and figure out a way to measure your progress toward it. So you take, one of your goals, and what does it look like 12 months from now? How will you know you've succeeded? And from that answer, you're going to come up with, two elements: how much and by when. So in other words, think of units. So that could be pounds, it could be number of calls, it could be number of movies seen, it could be books read, widgets sold, whatever it is. Think of units over time. Now we've created the horizon of 12 months, but what else can you do in 6 months' time? What can you do in 3 months' time? What can you do in a month's time? So your success measures should always be how much and by when. Okay, a lot of people skip that, and it's important, particularly for this next step, which is to predetermine your celebrations. What? Think about celebrations before there's anything to celebrate about? Yep, absolutely. So you want to decide ahead of time what milestones you're going to celebrate and how you will celebrate their successes. So don't just reward progress. You want to reward, or let me say that a different way, the right way. You don't want to reward okay, I'll say it again. Here we go. You want to reward progress, not just the achievement. So a lot of times what people do is they wait until they achieve their goal, and then they have their big blowout celebration, which sometimes is then detrimental to the actual goal itself. What you want is, if you've got this big goal and it's 12 months from now, well, what are you going to do 6 months from now? What are you going to do and have achieved 3 months from now? So set these smaller goals, these chunks, and as you achieve them, celebrate. Don't wait till the end. And the best thing to do is kind of find a place to keep track of your measurements and take them regularly, right? I mean, you ever do that when you're trying to lose weight, or when you were younger and trying to gain weight or gain height, and you tracked? Let's go with height, because most people go in for that. You're tracking, how many centimeters or inches or feet over the course of time you grew, and track that. And it's kind of thrilling. Now, you didn't necessarily have a lot of control over that, and I'm talking about things that you do have control over, but you get the general idea. You always want to be measuring, because measuring success keeps the focus on success. Don't be measuring your failures. And the final step here, kind of an important one, is find an accountability partner. Now, it's something I do professionally, and you don't have to use my services, although you certainly could. But what you want is an accountability partner so that you can run through each of these items on the checklist so that they keep you honest. Now, you're going to be tempted to use a spouse or a trusted friend or a loved one, and that's fine. You can. But just know that you're likely to have some of your goals be diluted by them, because they're going to come up with some well-meaning but, dream-killing questions. Phrases that are like, well, didn't you try that already? Or why would you want to do that? These are things that kind of question you and raise a little bit of uncertainty and doubt. They're deeply and deceptively insidious that way. So, I think it's better to work with someone who expects you to succeed, and is going to be kind of a partner with you, ergo, accountability partner, right? So, I mean, if you have the means, I think it's worth paying for somebody to kind of kick you in the rear, and that'll get you faster results. So that's it. There's the 7 steps that help you build a personal plan. Confirm your values, identify your quest, list 100 goals that support your values and quest, create a master plan for your year, bite-sized down, then assign success measures, then predetermine your celebrations so you can celebrate along the way, so you pay attention to the successes that you're making along the way, and find an accountability partner to keep you on track. So I hope that helps. If you have found this helpful or interested in some other similar topics, you can check out learnfromkarl.com for some other resources there. In the meantime, or otherwise, this has been Karl Bimshas. Thanks for listening, and keep advancing confidently in the direction of your dreams and help others along the way.